Next, we're going to subtract when we have unlike denominators. So remember that we have to find common denominators to add or to subtract, just like we do to add. And so we're going to do that the same way. 8 and 5 both go into 40. So I'm going to make a common denominator of 40. And I know that 8 times 5 gives me 40. So I'll multiply this fraction by 5 over 5. And I know that 5 times 8 is 40. So I can multiply this one by 8 over 8. And so 5 times 7 is 35 over 5 times 8 is 40. And then I subtract 2 times 8 is 16 over 5 times 8 is 40. And now I can just do my subtraction. 35 minus 16 is 19. Keep my denominator over 40. That is in simplest form. It's not an improper fraction. And so 7/8 minus 2/5 is equal to 19 over 40. On the next one, we have 1/4 minus 7/12. I know that 4 can go into 12, so I'm just going to change one denominator here to make 4 into 12. And 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 7/12. Here I'm going to have to use copy, change, because I can't do 3 minus 7 without it. So 3, copy, change, and then change the next one to a negative. When signs are different, I subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. Keep the sign of the higher number, which is 7, or negative 7, and then my denominator stays the same. Negative 4/12 can be reduced because 4 goes into 4 and 12. So I'm going to divide top and bottom by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and that was a negative answer. So 1/4 minus 7/12 is negative 1/3. At this point in time, I would challenge you to pause and try the next two on your own if you're feeling comfortable, and then check your answers at the end. So this first one, we have to make a common denominator. In this case, 6 cannot go into 15, but they both go into 30. So I'm going to make a common denominator of 30. I know that 6 times 5 gives me 30, so this first fraction I'll multiply by 5 over 5. And I know that 15 times 2 gives me 30, so the second fraction I'll multiply by 2 over 2. And so on this first one, 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. That was a negative. Minus 11 times 2 is 22. And then 15 times 2 is 30. When I have subtracting with negatives here, I can use copy, change. So copy, change. And I've got two negatives now. When signs are the same, I can add and keep. So I'm going to add 25 plus 22, which is 47. Keep the negative sign and keep my denominator. And I get negative 47 over 30. Well, I do think that is in simplest form. It is an improper fraction because the top number is bigger than the bottom. So 30 goes into 47 one time. So this is one whole with 17 remaining. So I've got negative 1 and 17/30 as my final answer here. 5/6 minus, or negative 5/6 minus 11/15 is negative 1 and 17/30. And then this last one, 3 and 8, I'm thinking about a common denominator. They both go into 24. So 3 times 8 is 24, so I'll multiply the first one by 8 over 8. 8 times 3 is 24, so I'll multiply the second one by 3 over 3. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24, and I've got a negative here. Minus another negative. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. And I can use my copy, change. So copy, change. And I've got plus a positive, so I've got a negative plus a positive. Different signs I subtract. 21 minus 16 is 5. Keep the sign of the higher number, which is positive, and keep my denominator. And 5/24 is in simplest form. It's not an improper fraction. So we would say that negative 2/3 minus negative 7/8 is equal to positive 5 over 24.